we are gonna draw a bear that is hibernating. So when it means that something is hibernating, does that mean that that animal is wide awake, running all over, collecting food, going swimming, or does it mean that they are sleeping, their bellies are full because they got lots of food beforehand? If you say they're sleeping, then you are right. So we are gonna draw a bear sleeping in a cave. So you're gonna need a white piece of paper, a pencil, and I'm gonna use markers, but you can use whatever you wanted to color it in. And you have a choice. You can either make your bear in the cave long and tall, not long and tall, sorry. You can make your bear in a cave tall, or you can put your paper this way and you can make it long. So I'm going to make my bear long. What we're gonna do is kind of start by the bottom here, and you're going to draw an oval. There we go. That's the bear's head. Then we're gonna add a little nose by the bottom of his head, by his face. And since the bear's sleeping, we're not gonna make the bear smiling because he's not smiling, he's sleeping. So we're gonna make his mouth like he's snoring, like. So just a little dot, just like that. And then his eyes are not open because he's sleeping. So you're gonna do 2 ups, 2 U's for his eyes, like. Then we're gonna do his 2 ears, 1, 2, because he needs to still be listening for the sounds of spring. And then we're going to go right by his ear on this side, and you're gonna go right by it and bring it all the way down. That's his body, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're gonna go right by his mouth, and you're going to make a little curve, and that's his one arm that he's resting on. And then you're gonna go over by his other ear up here and bring down his other arm, because he's resting on both of his arms like this. And then you're gonna go and add in his back leg there. And don't forget his tail. And now this is the fun part. I'm sure you probably have seen it that bears are in caves, right? So I'm gonna draw some rocks by the bottom. Some rocks here and there. And then I'm going to do some squiggles. Ready? So squiggle, wiggle, wiggle all the way around my bear. So look at, he's starting to be in his cave there. Then I'm gonna go on the other side again and make it a little more smoother. And down and around. I'm gonna move it over here. And then I'm going to add the bottom to the cave. So look at that bear. Again, you can make it as big or as small as you want to. Now I'm going to color my bear. You can color it however you want, but don't forget this. So whenever we talk about animals that hibernate, and especially when we talk about bears, there's brown bears, black bears, polar bears, but don't forget, polar bears do not hibernate. They like to live in the cold. So I'm going to make my bear a brown bear. So I'm gonna use the brown marker. I'm gonna go around his legs, over his body, his head I'm gonna do, his little ears, his tail, his other arm. But then for his nose and his mouth and eyes, I'm gonna do black because you can't see them because his eyes are closed, right? So they're just gonna be black. Then I'm going to I'm gonna use gray for the rocks and outline on the rocks. Then I'm going to use, I'm gonna use this kind of green because there's one video that I posted and it's you can actually look inside of the bear's den, and the bear's den there was rocks and roots and some grass. So I'm going to outline it with green because it's going to show the grass or the weeds or the leaves depending on what time this is during his hibernation, because if it's the beginning of his hibernation in the winter, there's not going to be any green or anything, right? Because it's all going to be snowy. But if it's coming near springtime, then we're going to see some more green because flowers are going to start to grow, grass and trees. So I'm going to outline it all with green there. Now, this depends up to you. If you wanted to, you can color in your whole bear. Good night, bear. Go around. Do you know what I'm noticing? Is that when you use marker for this one, it all kind of blends in together. So I'm gonna stop what I'm doing because you see what I mean? You can't really see its head or its body. So I'm gonna take a black and go outline it. So you can still see his head, his ears, his arms, his body, like I said, his tail. There we go. And you know what? I might even add some nails on this bear because bears have huge paws. Huge paws. They're so dangerous. Not only can they bite, but also too, they take their paws and they swat. Okay, so here's my bear so far. Look at that bear snoozing away in that cave. Now I'm going to take, what color should I take? I'm gonna take a darker green and I'm gonna go and color in my cave here. Because actually, you know what? I learned something new too, that bears, when they hibernate, when they're looking to build a cave, do you know where they look to build their caves? They look to build their caves or their dens on the side of a hill or in a mountain. Isn't that so cool? And they like to be up high. Okay, so I've colored it in with the green, and then I'm gonna color in the rocks. And if you wanted to, you could always give your bear a name, whatever you wanted. And then, remember at the bottom how I drew the bottom of the cave? So I'm gonna do it brown, foreign, dirt. So there we go. I'm going to name my bear Mr. Nurse the Bear. Don't tell Mr. Nurse. So I'm gonna write Mr. Nurse the Bear. Uh-oh, I forgot one thing though. Forgot to write my name on it, so I'm gonna do it now. Miss V up at the top. So here we have it. Miss V, my bear's name is Mr. Nurse the Bear. And look at this cute little Mr. Nurse Bear snoozing away. I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with. Have fun, guys.